So once we're on PowerPoint, I'll quickly just delete this. We don't need this actually. We don't need this also. So let's quickly take a look at the UI we're trying to create here. Let's navigate to our report. So you can actually see I have a blue background, then on my menu a blue, then of course a little gradient, this is a gray background, another gray, and all that. So let's quickly create this in PowerPoint. So one thing we can actually do is, this is where you get to pick the color of your choice, right? You mustn't necessarily use the blue I used. You can pick any color of your choice. So most times I go to this website to get color inspiration. I'll leave the link to the website in the video description also. So this would be colorhunt.co, colorhunt.co. So what I do, I just come to all time, right? And I get to pick any color I actually really want. So I don't know the color I want to pick in this case. I'll just look for any color that I feel is cool, I can actually use for the report. So let's say I want to go with this, right? So I just select the color, and this is almost, I don't know if this is blue also, but I think it's navy blue. So I'll just copy the code, come back to my PowerPoint. So the first thing I'll do is just right click and say format background. I'll change the color, more colors, custom. I'll simply just paste the code I copied. I'll paste the code I copied and click on OK. So I have the background color already. So I have that figured out already. So the next thing I'll do is just come here, pick a rectangle, draw one rectangle over the background, right? I'll just resize it, make sure it's to give me this frame I want, the kind of a frame form. So I'll make sure the edges are actually same. So you carefully just fix the edges. You can actually improve on this. Okay, so I have this already. So one thing I'll do now is change the color, right? I'll pick a different color entirely. So I can actually come to pick this white, darker 5%. So I have this frame, right? Let's quickly look at what we're trying to do here. So we have this already, then we have, you can see that the frame is actually a little bit lighter, so we need to make some adjustment there. So let's go back to our PowerPoint. So for this, we can actually increase the transparency a little. Let's make it 10%, right? Then you can actually come here and say effects, right? Expand the shadows, then say you want to actually blur this a bit, right? To like 30. So this is fine. Next, I would select this and probably say I want to come to shape format, outline, and I want to give it an outline. So we have, this is what we have right now. So the next thing we'll do is bring out our menu bar, right? Our menu bar, just bring out our menu bar here. I didn't really take note of the size for this, so just bring out our menu bar here and try to fit our menu bar here. Just increase this a bit. So we notice our menu bar is actually same color with what we have here. So I'll just select, this, and let's see, make it same color. I think we have something close to what I had here. We just need to make some few more changes. Yeah, we have something close to what I have here already. So we just need to make some few more changes. So the changes we're going to be making now is just come here, take another rectangle, place it over. We have another rectangle, just make sure it's well placed, right? So this rectangle now, we're going to change the color also, 1%, right? Then let's say we increase the transparency a bit. Okay, we increase the transparency a bit, and we also come to shape format, outline. We also need to put off the outline. We don't need any outline for it. So this is what we have. And this is not the final product. We then see if we can increase the transparency to like 5%. Okay, so we have 5%. So this is what we have now. I think over this is what we then need to bring another rectangle for the card visuals. So I'll bring this for the card visual. This is going to be for the first card. So just fit in your card visuals here. I need to check to be sure. So okay, we need to bring that down a bit. We need to bring it down a bit. So just bring this down, right? Bring it here. Okay, and this has to be white color, right? And come to shape format, outline, say we don't want any outline. So this is exactly, I think this is close to what I have on the other side. So this is how I came up with just the UI design. So you then have to make a duplicate of this, right? Make a duplicate of this. You have to fit one here. Make another duplicate. You have to fit one here, right? Another duplicate. You have to fit another one here. Great. So we're coming close. Let's quickly check. Let's check. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. The spacing also, white spaces 1, then we'll have 1, and we'll have 1. So that's great. So let's quickly achieve that. So what we have here, I'll just make a duplicate of this once more. I'll bring this down here, make sure the white space is actually same. Then I'll just expand this a bit, bring it down. Okay. Next, we need to then make some for what we have on this space here. So I'll just make a copy of this once more. Okay, ensure that you're maintaining the white space. So I'll extend this, I'll bring it down. Okay, I'll bring it down also. Then I'll make a copy of this once more. Make a copy of this. So this is where we're having a little problem, right? You can actually see that the one we have on top is actually much more larger than the one we have underneath here. So let's quickly confirm if that's what I have here. Okay, so I think this and this are actually same size. Then of course everything, okay. So we can actually make that adjustment, right? We can make that adjustment to ensure that it's same. So one thing we need to do is probably we need to delete this, right? Delete this, delete this, delete this. Yeah, it happens. Delete this, then we have to adjust our card visuals, not card visuals now. The shape, the card shape. Okay, so now I can make a copy of this once more. I think one thing I'll do is just try to get, okay, I'll try to extend this, then make a copy of this. Okay, so this is where the problem is. I'll extend this a bit because I just want this shape to be 2. I'll make another copy, right? I want to ensure, okay, wait, so I'm almost there. I have to do this manually. I don't know why. So I bring it down. Okay, great. I've gotten what I wanted. So I can take this here, right? I'll just leave this out. So you can actually check out the size for this. You can check it out. Come to shape format. You can look at the size. 278. That's 27829, right? So I'll take, now I can make a copy of this representation for our card, right? 1, make another copy. That's just Ctrl C, Ctrl V. This is 2. Make another copy. Ctrl C, Ctrl V. This is 3. Then I can bring this here also and extend. I'll then make a copy of this and bring it down here. Ensure that you maintain the same white space like I said. And finally, I'll need to make one more copy. I'll make one more copy of this and bring it here. Ensure you're maintaining the white space like I said. Okay, I'll just reduce the size, extend. We still have a little problem. I'm happy we have this problem so we can actually see what's going on. So I think we still need to increase the size or just try to adjust our card visuals, not increase the size actually. Adjust the card visuals to make sure you're maintaining the white space. It's actually the same across. So I have to ensure. Okay. Yeah. So this is what we want. Great. So given the color I picked, I think I've been able to figure out the layout already, the white space. I think everything is in order. The next thing we need to then do is just come get insert, then probably need to bring in another shape, another rectangle, right? For the titles we have there. So I'll just keep this here, right? I'll make a copy of this now. Just Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and bring this right here. I will extend this, right? So this is what we have. But I actually apply the gradient fill to this. So when I have this selected, remember this format shape is still here. If you close it, for example, if it's not there, just right click and say format shape. Then you select your shape. Then I can come to gradient fill, right? I'll select and just cancel, select and cancel. I think I have to pick the kind of gradient I want. You can actually just explore, pick any kind of gradient you want. I'll just cancel this. I'll change this from linear. Okay, now I'll leave it at linear. Maybe I'll pick something like this. Yes, this is close to what I had before. I'll select, cancel this, and see, this is close to what I actually had before now. I think so, or not so sure. So I'll select the first node, right, and just make it the color, right? I'll select the second. I'll just select the color, but I'll go back again and see more colors, right, and try to take it out a bit to see what happens. So you have this little gradient, something just not so noticeable, but you can actually see it. So I'll just delete this and make a copy of this to replace. So I'll replace, right? I'll place this. Then I'll extend to make sure it fits, right? So we're good. The next thing we need to do now, I think I add some little icons here. So we can actually apply those icons. So I'll quickly navigate to my browser. I'll come to my browser, open a new tab. I'll go to flaticons.com. I'll also leave the link on the video description. So while I'm here, I'll quickly just search for the icon I want. In this case, we actually want an icon that represents people and also an icon that represents income. So I'll just say people. I'll say people. I'll just search for people. I'll pick any icon. This is where you get to pick any icon of your choice. You mustn't necessarily use flat icon. If you have somewhere else, you can actually get good icons from. You can actually get your icon from there. I think I'll just take this. There are just 3 persons here. So one of the reasons I use flat icon a lot is because I'll be able to change the color of this icon if I don't like this original color. So I'll select the icon. If I want to change this color, I'll just come to edit icon, right? Then I'll just say choose color. One thing I'll do now, I'll just navigate to the color palette and grab the color, or I'll grab this color code, which is one of the colors for our design. I'll simply just replace the color we have here. So there you have it. So I succeeded in changing the color of this icon. So once I'm done, I'll click on download. I'll say I want to download the PNG form. Just the size can actually be 128. I'll just click on free download. So we have that figured out already. So I need to go back and search for something that has to do with income. Then we'll also select an icon for our income. So for income, I think I'll use this. I'll take this. I'll also select the icon, right? I'll come to edit icon. Then I'll also use the same color code, right? I'll just paste the color code. There you have it. And I'll download this also. 128 free download. So I have the two icons already. So now we just need to navigate back to our PowerPoint. So while we're here, I'll just say I want to insert a small circle, right? I'll put this here, a small circle. Okay, so you can actually look at the size here. That's 0.23, 0.23. Then one thing I want for the shape field, I think I want to make it that's 1%, 5% darker. Then for the outline, I don't want any outline. So I need to replicate this for the four cards. Is it card now or boxes we have here? I'll just make a copy of these, Control C, Control V. I'll place one here, right? You can see it's actually well aligned. Make sure it's well aligned. I'll make another copy. I'll place it on this very one here. Then I have to search for the alignment, make sure it's well aligned. Make sure you have the alignment correctly because it's very important. Then one final one, bring it down here. You can actually look at the alignment and make sure everything is in order. Once you've done this, we can go ahead and bring in our icon. I'll just come to insert. I know I have my icons in my download, pictures, this device. I'll go to my downloads, select the two icon, hold down my control, select the other, and just click on insert. So I have my icons here. I'll take the first one, right? I'll just reduce the size, make it very small, make a copy of it again, and just take the first one, drop it on the box. That's on the circle now. Take the second one, drop it on the circle also. Yeah, always look out for the alignment. I'll make a copy of this also. One thing I'll then do is check the size for this 014, 014. Then I'll make sure this is same size 014. Not necessarily though, because there's going to be a little issue there. I'll just delete this. Just make sure you have same size for this is 0.2, 0.2. I'll just make a copy of this once more. Then I'll bring this here, right? Make sure it's, I think I'll reduce the size just one more time. Yeah. No, it's too small. I'll increase it again. I think we're good with this. I'll just place it here. Or I can actually reduce the size myself without using that. So I think this is fine. This is actually fine. I'll delete this and just make a copy of this. Okay. And fix it here. Great. So on the report, let's quickly navigate back to the report we're trying to create. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, great. You can actually see I have a small icon. Is it an icon now? I can't really tell. But if you hover on it, you get a message, right? You get a simple message. It's a tooltip. So we'll probably just fix this now. We'll fix this now before bringing everything we need to bring here. So I'll go back to PowerPoint. I'll simply just create a simple box. Simple box would do. I'll place this here. Then for the shape fill, right? I can actually just fill it. Make sure the outline is none. So we are good. We've actually gotten the first page of the report, right? This is actually more like the first page of the report. We just need to fix our charts, our visuals, so we can get that feel, that same feel. One thing I quickly, so we still need to do just one more thing, right? If you come back to the report here, you can actually see the icons are actually maintained on this first page. That's demographics. So let's go to financials, right? That's financial health. When we come to financial health, of course, we have same icon, but immediately we get to transaction. Is it transactions now? So for transactions, you can actually see that the icons for transactions. Okay, so I think I made a mistake here, but the icon is actually supposed to be same, just that income icon. So we have to make one. We have to make one where we need to remove the icons from here and make sure we have income and income here. Then for the card, for the card details, also for the card details, you look at for the icon, you actually see this is MasterCard, Visa. So we need to fix this also because this is actually coming from, this is actually a background image. This icon you're seeing here, then this is also coming from the background. So we need to fix this part also, this very part here. So the first thing, one thing we need to also do is to go get this Visa, Discover, the American Express and MasterCard. We need to get these icons. Then we need to also fix that also. So I'll come back to PowerPoint, right? So this is actually for the demographics. We need to make a copy of this. Just right click and say duplicate slide, right? So this is going to serve for the demographics and financial health, I think. Then for this second page, is just going to be for this is going to be for transactions. And for transaction, we actually don't need this icon here. We don't need this. We don't need this icon. Rather, we need to also duplicate this icon. Duplicate this icon for the page 2. That's page 3 now. This is going to be for, so this is going to be for transactions. So we need to make one more copy of this, right? We need to make one more duplicate. So this is going to be for card details, which is MasterCard, Visa, Discover, and all that. So we need to go online. So for that, I'll quickly navigate to my browser. So while on a new tab, I'll simply just search for MasterCard logo, right? So you can actually see the logo for MasterCard. So I'll select one of them, right? I'll just select this. So one thing I notice is if you right click and decide to save as image, right? If you save this as image, let's quickly just save as image, download MasterCard logo. Oh, it's actually a web file, so I can't save it. So basically what I simply just do is come to search. That's my snipping tool. I'll just snipe this logo, right? I'll snipe this logo like this. Great. So I'll save this to, let's say, somewhere in my desktop, right? I'll just save it on my desktop as MasterCard. I'll click on save. Don't worry, we'll take care of the background much more later. I'll tell you how to do that also. So once we're done with MasterCard, I'll just search for Visa card logo. Yeah, Visa card logo. So I'll pick, let's say I want to use this, right? I'll also get my sniping tool and okay, it's up to me. I'll also snipe this also, don't worry. I'll just snipe it. Don't worry about the background yet, just snipe. And I'll save this also on my desktop. I'll just save this, right? I'll save it on my desktop as Visa on my desktop. Next, we need to also get Discover. That's Discover logo, Discover card logo, right? I think I'll use this. Then I also need to snipe this. So sniping tool once more to the rescue. I also snipe this logo. I'll save it to my desktop also. Discover card. Right. And finally, I think the last one is Amex card. That's American Express logo. Yeah, American Express. So I'll simply just take this very one, right? I'll take this. I'll take this. Is there any other one? You can go to images, pick any one you actually want to take. I think I'll take this one. Or I think I'll take this. Now I am undecided. I'll just go back and take the one I wanted before. Let's say we want to use this, right? Is this cool? Okay, I'll take this. I'll just go back to my sniping tool. Okay, right? Now I'll also save this as Amex. Great. So now you can actually remember when I'm trying to actually snipe this logo, there's also this background that is actually disturbing. that we really don't want. So one thing I'll do, I'll also leave the link on the video description, is come to my browser and just say search for remove background. I normally use remove BG, so I'll just say remove background, right? I'll just say remove background. That's remove BG. So it's the first one, that's remove BG. So I'll just click on remove BG. It's actually free. Remove BG. Now on remove BG, the first thing I'll be asked is to upload the image I want to remove the background. So I'll just upload. Then of course I'm going to select MasterCard first. If you look at the MasterCard, you can actually see the white background on the MasterCard. So I'll select MasterCard, I'll click on open. So watch what happens. The white background leaves, right? I'll just click on download. So I've downloaded the MasterCard. I'll go back again, right? I'll just go back again and do same for that's the other one for Visa. Click on open. Automatically removes the background. I'll download this also. So you need to do this for the for Discover, for American Express. So I'll do the same thing for Discover. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, I'll download this also. And finally, I'll just do it one more time for American Express. Open. Okay, so there's a problem. I actually don't want the blue background, right? I don't want the blue background. So I'll just go back to the American Express and take this white one, this very one here. I'll snipe it or just right click and save as image. So since it's an image, I'll save it on my desktop. I'll just save. Then I'll go back to my remove background and say I don't want this and upload a new image. So I'm going to be using this American Express, right? I'll select, click on open. So this removes the white background if there was any at all. So I'll download this. Great, so now I can go back to my PowerPoint. I'll just come back to PowerPoint here. Then I need to bring, I don't think we need this for the last one. I need to bring those card logos. So I'll come to insert pictures, this device, they are all in my downloads. So I'll select the first, the second, the third, the fourth. I'll just insert. So I have all the logo here. This is MasterCard. I'll just reduce the size, right? I'll place it. Did I place it here? I think I did. I'll place it here. One thing I'll do is just check the size. This is okay. Just make little adjustments here. So make it fit. Just use your discretion in this case. For American Express, I would also reduce the size. American Express card. Then Discover. I think we're missing one. That's Visa. So we probably need to go back and get the Visa. So I'll come back to insert pictures, this device, Visa. Yep, so the one for Visa, reduce the size also, Visa card. I think I need to reduce this a bit. Discover. No, I didn't plan to rotate that, so just Ctrl Z. Okay, I think you can actually make the adjustment. You get the concept. You can make sure it's well aligned. Every other thing is put in place. I think I would love to increase the size for the Visa a bit. Put everything in place. Make sure everything is in place. MasterCard, just a little. Yeah, put everything in place, make sure you have it. It's up to you. You get the concept already. So one final thing I did was just that, how will I call it? That little arrangement we have here, just this. I created this myself, so I think we can, let's see if we can work something out also. So while we're here, I'll just say I want a rectangle with rounded corners. I'll take the rectangle with rounded corners, just reduce it a bit, reduce the size also. Okay, so I think I'm good with this, right? Then for the shape fill, that's the fill now. I'll come to our color palette. I'll just pick this light color we have here. Let's see. Yep. Go back to PowerPoint. Shape fill, more color. I'll paste the color code I copied and click on OK. So this is it. Then for the outline, I think I just want it, let's say black. Yeah, so I want something like this. Then one thing we can do is go back to our flat icon, right? We still have it open, flat icon. I would need to exit this. Come on, come on, come on, come on. So on our flat icon, I'm simply going to search for, I'll just search for chip, right? Chip. There's something I'm looking for. Yeah, so I'll get this chip. Normally, you'll find it on cards. So I'll just download this as a PNG, free download. I'll download this chip. Now I can come back to PowerPoint, right? So this is going to be for one of my cards. I'll just rotate this a bit. Then I'm going to make a copy of this. This is going to be for another one. I'll just rotate this a bit also. You can actually use any arrangement you want. I'll make another copy. I'll just bring this down here, rotate a bit. I can't remember the concept, but I'm sure you get it. So I'll bring this down here one more time and just, yeah, something like this. So what I'm going to do next is just make a copy of the logos, right? This should be for MasterCard. I'll rotate to make sure it fits well. So this will be for MasterCard. I'll make a copy for Visa. I'll bring it down here. This will be for Visa, right? For American Express, I'll make a copy. This will be for American Express. I'll just rotate to make sure it fits in quite well. And finally, we have the Discover. Make one more copy. I'll bring it down here and rotate, right? Great. So finally, the last thing I'm going to do is just come to insert pictures, this device, come to my downloads and bring the chip I just downloaded. Then I'm going to just decrease the size, bring it here, then I'll rotate it to make sure it aligns properly. Great. So you get the concept. It's just a simple concept I came up with. Then finally, one thing we can do is just select all, right? Right click and group these guys together, right? Select, just make a copy, Control C, come to this page you have here, Control V, come to this page you have here, Control V. So we are good to go. So we are done with creating the background image we need for our report. So what we need to do is just to snipe these images, save them, and go to Power BI, bring them there and start working. I'll come to my sniping tool, right? I'll just say new, then I'll, of course, snipe this background just the way it is here, right? There are several ways you can actually do this. You can actually just select or right click and save as image. Oh, there's something I don't want here. So I'm going to close this, click on cancel. I'll just minimize this. There's something I didn't want there. So I'll click on new. I'll start all over. Okay, so I'll just snipe this. So I have the background image sniped, right? So I can actually come to save, then I'll say this should be my background image one. Background image one, you can actually save it with anything, don't mind me. I'll save it on my desktop so I'll easily have access to it. I can access it easily. Then you also need to save this also for page 2. That's page 3. This is for page 4. So you have same thing for page 1 and 2. This is page 3 and this is page 4. So we have everything ready and good to go. So what happens if you don't like the color we're actually using? You want to change your color, you can actually do that. Like I said, you can play around it, use any color you like. It's simple now. Just make a duplicate of this, right? You can actually make a duplicate of this and start changing your color. Say you don't want this color, shape format, shape fill, and pick any color of your choice. Like I said, you can come online, go to colorhunt.co. I can come to popular, all time. I can start looking for any other color I feel it's okay for me. I want to use. I don't think I see any color I would want to use. I'll go to all time here. If you want to use pink, that's up to you. If you want these, I don't know, any color, just play around it. Anything, you're free. Express yourself using your visualizations. I think I like this, so I can actually select this color and copy the color code. Just click on it, copy the color code, come back to your PowerPoint, shape fill, more fill color. Just change the color code, you paste it, click on OK. You have the color changed already, right? So I can change the background color by just right clicking and say format background, right? I'll change the color of the background also. So this is what you have. If this is what you want, remember, if it's what you want. So I'll select this also. I'll just right click, right? Format background, select this. I'll come to the gradient, the first one. I'll change the color to what I selected already and do the same thing for this gradient, change the color to this. So if this is the direction you want to go, it's entirely up to you. Express yourself. You're free to do anything you want. So once we're done here, I think we're done with everything we need to do in PowerPoint. Now let's proceed to Power BI and start creating our report, our visuals, and putting everything in place. So I'll quickly navigate to Power BI now. Stay with me. So in Power BI, I'll just remove everything we have here. I'll remove everything. If there was anything we had here before, I'll just remove everything so we can start afresh. Great. So first thing we need to do now is just come to Format, Report, Canva Background, Browse, right? I'll come to my desktop where I have it saved as background image 1. Click on Open. I'll change the image fit from normal to fit. I'll reduce the transparency to 0, and here you have it. Voila. So now we can start creating our report, starting with our card visuals. So let's quickly look at the report we're trying to recreate. The first thing we need to do, and let's see how we can proceed. So for the first page, which is the demographics, let's go to the demographics and look at what we need to do there. I can easily just come here. So for the demographics, we actually have the clients, right? We have the clients, then we have male, female, we have the average yearly income, max, mean, we have the average age, male, female, then per capita income, max and mean. So let's quickly do this, then we can come to every other visuals. I'll navigate back to the report now. So for this, remember, I think we're done with all the measures we need to write. So I'll just expand my visualization pane. I'll select the new card visual. Great. The new card visual. I'll bring this here. What I need on the new card visual is actually the total client. That's the total client. Then once I have the new card visual selected, I'll come to Format, Reference Label. I'll add label. What I want to add in this case is actually male client and female client. So I have the male client and the female client. So once I'm done adding these, one thing we quickly need to do is just format this. I'll select the card visual, right? I'll just collapse this, come to format, I'll scroll down, turn off, not on the reference now. Watch what I want to do. First, I'll come out of every sub-layer I am. I'll expand the cards. I'll scroll down, turn off the background, turn off the border, right? That's the first thing I'll do. Once I'm done with that, I'll come to General, Effects, I'll turn off the background also. Then on Visual, the first place I'll go to is actually the colored value. For the colored value, I'm simply going to change this from all to client, right? I'll then select a font size. For this, I think I want to go with 25. I'll select 25. Okay, 25 is actually too small. Let's say we're going with 30. 30 is fine. I'll scroll down. The display unit, I'll say none because I want to see the entire client. Then decimal places, I'll actually say 0. I don't want any decimal places. So once I'm done with that, I'll simply scroll down and turn off the label. I don't want the label also. I'll turn off the label. Great. So once I'm done with this, the next place I'll then go to is actually the reference label. Reference label. So I'll expand the reference label. I'll stay on client, right? While it's on client and while it's on all, I'll just make sure. So this is where it's tricky. I'll make sure I'm using same font size. If I'm using DIN, I'll make sure I'm using DIN in all through. For both my title and my values, I'll make sure it's DIN. Title and value, everything should be DIN. I think I'll increase the size. The font size for the label should be 14, right? Or let's say 16. Then the value should also be 16. Remember, we're looking at reference here. Value should also be 16. Now, while on client, I'll then want to work with each of the label. I'll change to mail. For the title, I'll change it from field name to custom. This is where I now get to say this should be mail. I'll just put a dash like this, right? Then I'll go back, change it from male to female. Then for the title, I'll expand from field name to custom. I'll say this should be female, right? It should be female. I'll put a dash like this. So for the value, for the female, right? We have female. I'll come to display unit and I'll say none, right? Decimal places, I'll also say 0. So once I'm done, I think we're through with everything we need to do for the first card visual. Then I'll expand my data pane, right? I'll make sure my client, I'll just put a comma. Remember to put a comma. Then for female client also, I'll put a comma. That's the measure. I'm trying to put a comma to just let you know. Then for my male client, I know it's just the number is actually no more than 1,000, but I'll also just put a comma just in case. Great. So with this, we're actually done with the first card, the first KPI card. We're done with the first KPI card that has to be the client. I would make a copy of this card, right? I'll just say Control C, Control V. I'll bring it down here, right? Then the next thing we want to look at is the average age. Then we'll talk about the average male and average female age. So I'll just select the average age, right? Interesting. I didn't really retain the feature. I'll uncheck client and replace it with average age. Okay, so this is the average age. One thing, I'll select the average age. I'll make sure decimal places is actually 0. I don't want the 2 decimal places. I'll make sure it's 0. Great. So now we can go back to format. Watch what I want to do again. I'll come to format, right? Expand the reference label. I'll expand my DAX measure. Guess what I want to add? Average male age, average female age. Those are the 2 reference labels I want to add. I'll collapse this. Now, the reason I copied the card visual is so I don't need to come to cards here and start putting all the background and all that. It's already done. So the first place I need to go to, you can guess, call out value. I'll go to call out value. I'll change this to average age, change the size. Remember the size we're using is 30. Then I'll simply come down and turn off the label. Yes. So once I'm done with that, I'll come to the reference label once again. Once it's on average age and it's on all, I will then change the font size. Remember, we're maintaining same font size across. The value, I will expand same font size. I'll change this to 16. I'll change this to 16 also. Great. So this is me applying same feature to everything, average male age and average female age. So now I can now go individually. So I'll change this from all to average male age. Then for the title, I want to give it a proper title. So this should no longer be this, rather I want it to be AVG, or I'll just say male. Once I'm done, I'll change this to female, and the title also should just no longer be filled in custom, and this should be female. Great. Also, I don't want the decimal places I'm seeing there, so I'll select the average female age and say I don't want the decimal places. It will be 0. I don't want the decimal places. Then select the average male age. I still don't want the decimal places. It also should be 0. Great. Once I'm done, next let's go to the yearly income and the per capita income. So I'll make a copy of this card visual once more. I'll just click on paste since I have it copied. I'll bring it down here, right? So this should be average yearly income. Remember, we've written all these measures, average yearly income. So this is the average yearly income. I'll select that. Still don't know why. So I'll select the average yearly income, right? For the average yearly income, I'll come to format now, call out value. I'll change this from all to average yearly income, reduce the font size to 30, right? Great. So for the call out value also, I can decide to say I don't want any, say none. So it appears this way, right? Then for the decimal places, I can set 0. So we have the average yearly income. Before we continue, I think I would want to check this, the average yearly income. Am I using average yearly income there? So I think I want to check this. Okay, great, average yearly income, that's right. Okay, so average yearly income, right? So the next thing we need to do is the reference label, average yearly income. Then we need to look at the max yearly income and the minimum yearly income. Those are the two things we need to look at, max yearly income and minimum. Those are the reference label. So I'll come to format now, expand the reference label. Then we want to add to the reference label, want to add the max yearly income and the minimum yearly income. Those are the two we want to add, two values we want to add. So once we're done with this, I can then scroll down and say we want to change the font size to DIN again, increase the size to 16 as we've always done. For the values, expand, increase the size to 16. Our font size needs to be consistent, so font size and font style. So now we can go to the max yearly income, custom. So this is where I get to say single. Is it single now or max yearly income? What did I say? Let me confirm. So max and min, max and min. Okay, yeah. So this should be max. Now I can come back, change this to min, then expand the title, change this to custom. This should now be min. Great. So I actually have minimum the average is actually 1. I don't know why I'm saying $1. So is it possible that somebody is earning $1 on an average yearly income? That's interesting. Okay, so I don't need to make any adjustments. I made a mistake before now, so I'll just Control Z, Control Z, undo, undo, undo. So the reason I need to turn off the label. So I'll come to format, call out values. I'll turn off the label. I don't want the label. So everything is well aligned. So we need one more card. One more card. I'll simply just paste. I'll save that save, then I'll paste. So we need one more card here. So this should be looking at the average per capita income. Per capita income. So I'll simply remove this from client once more and say the average P income. Average P income. So for the average P income, I'll select this and say we don't want these 0 decimal places also. 0 decimal places. So we'll come to format, right? Call out value, change it to average per capita income. This should be 30. Remember, we're using 30. I'll scroll down and say the display unit should be none. Decimal places already I said should be 0. I'll also turn off the label. Great. So now I can go to reference label, right? Add. So expand the DAX. What do we want to add? The max per capita income and the mean P income. That's the max P income and the mean P income. That's what we want to add. So the next thing we would do is simply expand the reference label, right? Come to the well is on all, expand the title, increase it to 16. The font style should be DIN. The values, increase it to 16 also. The font style should also be DIN. Great. Then finally we can come to select max and change the name custom and change this to max. We can go back and change this to mean custom and change this to mean like we've always done. So this is now mean. I've changed this to max and mean, but the mean I'm actually having 0. I'm actually having 0. So let me go back to the report. Mean I'm not having 0 here. So what did I do differently? Let me select this card visual, expand the mean per capita income. I think I know what I did differently. This is the mean per capita income. Okay, this is yearly income, so we're looking at per capita income. Mean pay income. Oh, okay, so I see what I did differently. So basically, I added a filter to say when it's greater than 0. When it's greater than 0. So, but I still don't, I think I don't want to add this filter this time around in case we actually, if it's 0, let's know that the mean is actually 0. So I'll just leave it the way it is. I don't want to change that measure. Let's say we make we apply a filter to the report, and of course there's a possibility that the mean will eventually change. It's possible. So we have the card visuals already, right? So we need to just make sure we have our headers, our title. So I'll just bring a text box to do that. So I have a text box here. We should be looking at clients. I'll just make sure the font style is actually still DIN, and I'll increase the size to 16. 16 may be too small. Let's say 20. So I have 20. So this would be clients. I can actually then make a copy of this, right? So this would be average yearly income. This should be average yearly income. I'll bring another copy. This should be average age. Then the final one should be per capita income. I actually don't want to add average because it's going to be too long. So this is per capita income. Great. So we have our title, we have our card visuals in place. What do we need to do? So the first chart we need here is just our clients and male or female by gender. So I'll just take a clustered column chart, right? Bring it here, expand. So what we have here is just the clients, right? By the different age groups. So we expand our dimension users. We created age bucket before now. So this is the age bucket, right? Then we also want to know by gender. So I would add gender as a legend. Exactly. So this is what we have. So what do we need to do? We just need to format this. So we have our clients by gender. It's well sorted. So we need to format this. Let's navigate back to the report we're trying to create. So we have total client by age group. That's it. We have by male and female gender. So what we have here is clients within the DTI category, then client total client by overall low risk score category. So we need to create both visuals. So we're actually using same chart. So I'll just make a copy of this chart. I like making copies. I don't know why. I'll bring it down here. Just reduce the size. So we're no longer using age bucket, rather we're using the DTI category. So this is the DTI category from high risk, low risk, severe, manageable, and all by gender. Then we also need to make one more copy, right? I like making copies. Then this is no longer by DTI category, rather low risk category. Yes. So this is what we have here. Exactly. So we need to reduce the sizes, right? Reduce this. Great. So also need to, eventually we need to format this to make it look nice. Let's go back again and see what we have here. So what we have here is actually client and income group. So the client, percentage of clients within the income group, and client and credit score. So we go back. So first we take a donut chart, right? Bring it here. Then we have our client. Let's look at this is income group. The income group. We need to look for our income group. Income group. I hope we created a group for income. Income group. Okay, yeah, that's the yearly income bucket. Yearly income bucket. Then we need to just go get our clients. Great. So we also need to do same for I love making copies. Copy, paste. We need to do same for that's the credit score category. So we'll just change the yearly income to credit score category. Great. So we have everything intact. So now that we have our charts, that's our visuals, we can just do a clean formatting and we're done with page 1 of the report. So first thing we'll do is select the first chart, that's the first visual, expand our visualization, come to format. On our x-axis, we'll turn off the title. Remember to change the font style to DIN. The font size, make it 10, change the color to black. We're done. for the x-axis. Now for the y-axis, we need to turn off the values, we need to turn off the title, right? Then we'll come to the legend. For the legend, we don't need to say gender, so we need to turn off the title. Great. What is the next thing we need to do is come to data label and put on the data label. Great. So finally, we need to come to general title and say this should be total clients by age group. So remember, the font style is DIN, increase the size to 16. You can decide to then bring this to the center and we're good. So what is the next thing we need to do for this chart? We need to come to columns. So this is where we need to apply to the male color. What do we need to apply? To the female, what do we need to apply? So what I'll do, I'll go back to our color, right? I'll just go back to our color. I really want to pick that color. So yeah, I'll come back to our color, right? So I'll pick this color. All right, go back to the report, more colors, more. I'll just paste that here. Great. So I'll also go back to the color option and take the lighter one for female. I'll take this lighter one for female. Let's see if it works, or I'll come back for this. Navigate back to the report, change this to female, color, more, Ctrl V. So this is actually really dark. I think I want something a bit light. I can actually just do it here. Click on more and bring it forward to until I get something I like. I think I'm okay with this. So I'd want to go with this, like this, just the way it is. So we need to do the same thing for the charts we have here. So I'll select this, right? I'll come to Format Painter. I'll just drop it on this. Great. So I'll just reduce. So I have a little space here. I'll also stay on this Format Painter and drop it here. Great. So great. So now we also just need to give these proper titles, right? We need to give the titles, make it look good. What's the title? This is client by DTI category. I'll just come format. I'll say general title. By DTI category. Then this should be client by risk score category. Great. Great. So finally, we need to just apply some formatting to this donut chart we have here. For the first one, I'm just going to come to format, right? Then let's say details label. I'm going to just change this to just the category and the percent total. The category and the percent total. Then I'll turn off the legend. So I have something like this, right? For this, let's see. I think I'm missing something. Okay, so we need to expand this. Okay, so one thing I'll do is come to slices, right? Spacing and reduce this a bit. Nope, I think I want to increase it. Reduce. Let's see what happens. No, so let's try to increase this. This is too large. We actually need to do not chart here. I think one of the advantage I had here was I used zoom charts, so it fit in quite well, I don't know. So for this, we need to find a way around it. Is it really necessary to use this? Because once I reduce the size, then I don't get to see the labels anymore, which is bad. And what can we do in this case? If I decide to expand this and say, okay, you know what? I want just the values, right? I want just the values, or I want just the I can't say category, just the category is still going to be a problem. If I said I want just the value, okay, so is it possible to do something like this? Let's say we say percent, right? And we say inside. Oh, this is bad. This is not a good visual at all. No, don't try this, please. Outside. Okay, so let's find a way around this. I can't reduce the size because it's still not going to fit in. What do we do? Okay, percent of total. Yeah, once I say percent of total, then I put on the legend, right? Then I can actually change the size, the style, or I can say top center, something like this. It's still not too good. We still need a lot of space. Let's say we say bottom, right? Say bottom left. Something like this good. I'm not in support of this. What do we do? Okay, let's say top left stacked or top right stacked. Let's see. This is still not nice. I don't think I like this. We're still not going to have enough space for this very one we have here. Interesting. For the credit score, I think we're actually good. But what do we need to do here? So I think we can actually just change the income to low, middle, and high. We can change the income to low, middle, and high just to, will I say, be on the safe side. So we can actually apply it here. So that's what we'll do. So we can have the legend by the side. Or let's see, because I don't think this is also going to be a problem. So I'll just come back to table view, right? I'll come to the user's data. What we're looking at is actually the yearly income bucket, right? This is the yearly income bucket. So instead of having high income, low income, I'll just say low, right? I'll say this should be low, this should be middle, and this should be high. Great, so I'll navigate back to the report view. So we have low, middle, and high income. So I still can come back now and turn off the legend, right? And come to detail and say I want the category and the value. No, category and the percent of total. Something like this. Let's see if we reduce the size now. Great, so I can reduce the size now to make sure it fits in well. So let's try this for what we have here. Let's say we want the legend off, then we also want the category and percent total. Yeah, this works perfectly fine. Okay, good. So now we can just make sure we have the colors in place, right? And the titles in place and the sizing also. So if we're going to go with this size, for example, we also need to make sure this very one is the same size. So I'll select this and just come to format, the labels, the values. I'll change the color, make sure they are black, right? I'll just see if I can increase the size, then change the font style to DIN as we've always done, then increase the size to 12. Great, so I have something like this. Next thing I'll do is come to the slices, right? For the high, I can use the same color we've been using. For the middle, I can actually use this color to see how it works. And for the low, I can use this color. So one thing I was actually told was I should not use the same color, same category color, yeah, same color for the categories I have, right? Basically, I use, so you have total client by age group. So this is talking about age group. So I should use this color for age group, right? So what they are trying to say is for this income bucket, I'm talking about income, is a different thing entirely from age group. So I should be using a different color entirely. So let's say for high now, we can decide to say we want to use something like this, right? I'm actually not paying attention to the color I'm picking right now. So when something is literally green, we assume is good. Then for middle, let's say we pick a different color. I'm not trying to use the traffic lights color here. So let's say we pick a different color for middle, right? Then for the low, I actually can just take a gray color for the low. I don't think a gray color is actually good. And I really don't want to use red. Nah, this is not good. No. For the low, I think we can just gray it out. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this. So this is where you get to put in your own ideas, right? Put in your own ideas. Just create something that you feel is going to work for you. Then I'm just going to select this, right? And check the size. Check the size, properties. This is 287344. So I'll make sure this is also 287344. 344. Yeah, to make sure we have same size. Then we need to come down to what we did here. Come to the visual, right? Data label, that's detailed labels actually. Expand, change the font style again to DIN, not light, DIN actually. Increase the size to 12, change the color to black. Great. So when it now comes to the slices, right? I think excellent should actually carry the green too. It doesn't good. We can actually give fair should, what do we do here? Fair should actually be same yellow color, right? Then poor should actually be same ash color, right? Then good, I think this is fine actually. No, now, so what I'll do is just change this good color to the color we have here before now. So this good, I'll just take this color. I think I'm okay with this. I think this works, and you can easily just tell, right? You can tell from excellent to good to fair to, of course, poor. So colors are actually important also when you're creating your report. Your colors should actually speak. People should actually be able to make something by looking at the colors in your report. So if you see red, would know that okay, so something really bad is happening there. Great. So now for we just need to change the title. So this is client by yearly income. So we can just change the title here to clients by yearly income. You can actually say total clients by yearly income. Then make sure this is at the center. Then this should be clients by credit score, total clients. By credit score, by credit score. Also make sure this is at the center. Great. So remember, like I said, I was advised that For this category, talking about DTI category, that means we need to use a different color entirely. I really don't have an idea of the color I want to use right now, so this is actually entirely up to you. You can use different colors here, but for me, I'll just leave them like this. So I think with this, we're actually done with the first page of the report, right? We're done with the first page of the report. So I'll navigate back to the report we're trying to recreate. Remember, you can use the color. If the color is what is making it look different, you can actually use your own colors. I'll select this text I have here, right? Just hold by control, select the text I have here. I'll just copy this, navigate back to this report here, and I thought it was going to work like magic, and paste it here. So you can see it clearly. You can actually see it here. So with this, we're actually done with the first page of the report. This is literally the first page of the report that talks about demographics, right? This is the first page of the report that talks about demographics. I think the only thing we then need to bring here is what I have here. Just demographics, then the slicers I have up here. So I'll just select these, right? This is just a text box. This is a slicer, a slicer, a slicer. Then I'll just copy this and let's see, I'll paste it here. Yes, it's going to throw an error, right? So the first slicer I actually have is talking about what? I think that is looking at loan risk category, which is this, then debt category, then we have the yearly income class. Okay, so for this, we're looking at loan risk category. That's the loan risk category. We just need to replace it with what we have here. Loan risk category. That's the loan risk category. That's it. Then for this, we need to replace this by with I think debt category. So if it's good debt, bad debt, did we do that? So total debt, yearly. I'm not sure we've done that, so I think we can quickly do that. So for the debt we already have the debt, right? If you come to the users, you see we have total debt. So we classify the debt into those, of course, no debt, high debt, low, and so on. So if I come back to what we have here, table view, and let's look at the debt category, right? For the users, let's look at the debt category. So we have the total debt category. This is just a debt category I created. So just classifying into low debt, moderate debt, high debt, very high debt, and of course no debt at all. So when you're having 0K. So I'll just copy this. We've done a lot of things using we've written a lot of measures using switch function before now, so you actually know what's going on here. I'll just make a copy of this, come back to what we have here, right? So this is our report. We have a column that is showing total debt. So we just want to create another column to classify the debt into different bucket also. So I'll just paste the code I copied. Remember, our table name is actually different. That's why I'm having this error. So what we have here is actually DIM user data. So DIM user data. So DIM user data, we're looking at the total debt. So I need to search for that total debt. Right. So I'll delete this. Then I'll just make a copy of this and paste. Just Ctrl C, then I'll paste it here. Ctrl V. Also replace what we have here. Replace what we have here. Replace what we have here. Replace what we have here also. replace what we have here, replace what we have here. Finally, so great. So basically what we're saying is if the debt is equal to 0, of course, there are some people that don't have any debt attached to them. That means no debt. Of course, if the debt is between 0, greater than 0 and less than 10,000, of course, the debt is low like that. Just that's the classification. But I remember what we normally do once we create a bucket like this. Guess what? We need to create a sort column to be able to sort this bucket in the order we want it. So I'll just copy this code again, right? I'll say we want to create a new column. So this is going to be our sort column, just like we've always done. We've always done. So this is going to be our sort column. So I'll paste the code. New column, please. So for new column, I'll just paste the code. Then of course I'll assign numbers this time around. So this should be 1. This should be 2. This should be 2. This should be 3. 3, 3, 3. This should be 4. And this should be 5. And yeah, this can be 6, even though I'm not sure. So this is actually category, right? This is category. Not category, sort, please. Sort. I'm a bit carried away. So this is sort, and I'll just commit this, right? Great. So now I can select the total debt bucket and come to sort this using the total debt bucket sort. So we've done that. We're using that for our slicer actually. We're using it for our slicer. So if you come to the report view, right? Now we can actually replace this with our total debt buckets. Yep. So we can have this slicer. I think the last slicer we have, let's quickly look at the last slicer we have there on the report view. The last slicer is actually the yearly income class, So I'll navigate back to the report here. While we're here, I'll just remove this and replace it with the yearly income buckets. So we have the 3 slicers already for the report. So one thing that I'll always advise you to do once you have your slicers here, always try to test them high risk and see what happens. Now, this slicer loan risk is not supposed to interact with this what is it called, this very visual. So I'll select it, I'll come to format, edit interaction, I'll make sure it doesn't interact with this visual. So I'll clear this. Next, let's select the debt category and see what happens. So I don't think this has any issue. This doesn't have any issue. Okay, so for the last one, let's quickly look at low. I know it's not supposed to interact with one of these charts. So this chart is not supposed to interact with this chart we have here. So I'll select the slicer, come to format, edit interaction. I'll turn it off, and I think we're good to go. So we're good to go. Yes, we have one more thing before we go to page 2. Before we go to page 2. Yes, so let's quickly navigate back to the report I have here. You actually see I have a tooltip. I have a tooltip page. So if you come to the demographics, right? If you come to the demographics of the report and you just hover on this icon here, you see the tooltip page, just giving you a brief of how the loan risk score, overall loan risk score was actually calculated, just the factors that were involved in calculating the overall loan risk score. So we're just quickly going to create before we move to the financial health. So I'll navigate back to our report here. The first thing we need to do is just add a new page, right? And come to format, canvas setting, change this to a tooltip. Great. So once you change this to a tooltip, you can then insert a text box. you have the text box here, just the text box here. Then you can add the text, right? So let me go grab the text. I come to the tooltip. So this is just the text, factors involved in determining the overall loan score, credit score, yearly income, and all that. Just the simple text and all that. I'll just copy this. I'll copy. I need to copy the text box actually. So I'll copy this, right? So in case you're not seeing it clearly, let me just increase so you see it clearly. So this is just the text I have here. So I'll copy this. I'll navigate back to the report. Here, I'll simply just paste, right? I have to remove the one I selected before, then I'll just paste. So once I have the text box pasted, right? This is the text I pasted here. But you can actually see we've not gotten the size because the size is actually 120, 320, right? So we need to change the Canva size. So I'll come back to format now. Make sure you don't have anything selected. I'll go to Canva setting. Still on tooltip. I'll now go back to custom, right? So it's actually 120. So let me just try and put 120. Yep. So just change this to 120. It's on 320 already. Just change to 120. That's all. Now you're going to encounter a little problem, right? Make sure you change this. You stay on tooltip before going to custom. Don't go to custom directly. Go to tooltip, then go to custom. So once we've done this, we have our tooltip page already. Now I can come back to page 1, right? And here I just need to put that 3 dots I have there. So for that 3 dots, I think we'll just right click here, say new measure, just a new measure. This is not going to be a serious measure, just 3 dots. I just want 3 dots. So I'll just say new measure. Don't know why it's taking so much time. So I'll just call this label, right? I'll just create a 3 dots here. I hope this is what I used actually. So I'll just create a 3 dots there, and I'll get a card. Let's get a card. Yes, I'll get a card and place the 3 dots on the card. So great. So I'll just get the old card visual, right, and place that label on the card. So I have these 3 dots there. So I'll come to format. I'll turn off the category, right? So I'll just reduce the size. Okay. So this is what I have. I'll come to general, come to effects. I'll put off the background. And what else? Nothing. So I'll just drop it here, right? So I'll select one more time. I'll come to format, color value. I'll change the color to white to begin, right? I think I want to increase the size a bit. I can't remember if this is what I used, but I think this should work. Let me just quickly confirm that if that's what I actually used here. So report page, this is not what we want to look at. I was actually trying to use a dark background to create a report before now. So let's confirm what I used here. Did I actually create a measure? Yeah, I did create a measure. Yeah, I did create a measure. Okay, so I see the difference right now. So instead of using the 3 dots, I have to navigate back to the report now. Come back to the label, right? Instead of having these 3 dots here, I'm simply going to hold down my Windows key and just hit my full stop button. So this is going to bring out another. I'm expecting to see something. I'm not seeing it yet. Hold down my window key. Yeah, so this emoji. So I get to search. I need to search for where I have something like this. Yeah, this is it. This is what I'm looking for. I'll just click on it. 1, 2, 3. Yep. So I'll change. So the measure, the label is automatically changed to that, right? So instead of having this, I'll be having that. Okay, so this is where I need to resize, right? I need to resize instead of, so I have the 3 dots here, but it's just too big. So I need to resize, make this like 20. Let's see what happens. I just need to resize this, right? Need to resize and bring it here. Great, so once I have it here, right? Once I have it here, I'll then select it. Only thing I need to do is come to format, right? General, tooltip, right? I'll turn on the tooltip, expand. I'll say it should be to a report page, and I'll change it to page 2 because our tooltip is actually on page 2, right? So when you hover on it, you should see the tooltip. So we're done with that. So one thing I'll do now is right click on this page 2 and just say hide. So this is no longer page 1. This should now be our demographics. So this should be our demographics. Then finally, we need to change the text color, the color for this text we have here. This text, we need to change the color. I think I'll use this and we are good. So with this, we're actually done with the first page of the report, right? We're done with the first page. For the second page of the report, we're actually going to be much faster than this, so we don't spend so much time. But we're not going to be making so much change, right? So if you come to the report we're trying to recreate here, everything remains the same, right? If you come to the financial health now, we're using same category. We're using same category. We're using the same category. The only thing changing is just this remains the same, but this changes to loan risk score, right? This changes to debt, and this changes to debt to income ratio. All this we've calculated before now. So for this, everything remains the same. Rather, we're not just looking at this using total debt instead of that's accumulated debt instead of clients. Everything is now working based on accumulated debt instead of clients. So we're quickly going to do this now. So basically what I'm saying is, if we come back here, what we need to do is just make a duplicate of this page and rename this to financial health. Rename this to financial health. So instead of having clients here, total clients by age group, we're no longer looking at clients, rather we're looking at debt. So this should be looking at the total debt. I think we have a measure for that. If we don't, we quickly need to write a measure for the total debt. Okay, we don't have a measure for the total debt. So we quickly write a measure for the total debt. Just right click, say new measure. So this is looking at total debt, right? Which is simply a sum. What we want to do, we want to sum the user, and we're looking at the total debt. This is the total debt. Great, so that's just the measure we want to write there. Great, so that's the measure we want to write. So for the total debt, we just need to bring in total debt to the y-axis. So this is what we have. So we now have total debt by the different age group and across the gender. Same thing here for the clients by DTI category. We want to look at, instead of clients, we also want to look at the total debt. Now, same thing for client, that's risk score. Instead of looking at client, we also want to look at the total debt. Same principle applies here. Instead of client, we want to look at the total debt. Same principle applies here. Instead of client now, we also want to look at the total debt. Great. So with this, you can see the only thing you need to do is just start changing your title. This is no longer by age group, this is accumulated debt by the age group. This is also, just need to change the title. Then for the card visuals, I'm not going to go over that anymore. You just have to work on that. So for the card visuals, what we have here is total debt. We already have total debt, right? We have total debt already calculated. Then the average loan risk score and the debt to income ratio, those are the two what will I call now? So we need to calculate the um, debt to income ratio. So to do that, just let me quickly show you the measure. So this is user. I think we've already done that. So we have the debt to income ratio already. We have the debt to income ratio, which is our DTI. We have that calculated already. So when you come back to our report now, this is our report, our users, you can actually see we have the debt to income ratio. What's it here? Credit score. Yeah, so we have the debt to income ratio calculated already. This is the debt to income ratio. We also have the category done already. So we have everything. So if you come back to what we're doing here, so all you need to do is bring in the debt to income ratio, right? You write the DAX for the single max debt to income ratio. We've already done that for male and female, so you can do it for debt to income ratio. You also do the same thing for the mean for debt to income ratio. Then the average loan risk score, we've already calculated that before we grouped it. This is what we're talking about, the loan risk score here. So what you need is just to get the average. So you can actually work out these card visuals we have here. You can just recreate the card visuals. Then of course you need to change the labels also. The labels from what we have there. I think the slicers remain the same. You don't need to do anything about the slicers. They remain the same. So you can just work on that. That's for page 2. So with this, we've actually come to the end of page 1 of the video. This is the end of page 1. This is the end of part 1 of the video, not page 1. That's demographics and financial health. So remember, also there's also a link to this report where you can actually look at the report and you should be able to just create the report. So on the next video, we are going to be looking at the transactions and the card details. So I'll see you then. Bye for now.